Hey, folks. Having a bit of a surreal morning this morning. Um, it's the first night I slept in an actual solid structure out here in over almost a year. I guess 8 months, 9 months, however long I've been out here. And so it's just a bit surreal. The cob house isn't done, but this is, flip it around I'll do it this way. This is the view I had in the morning waking up looking out my window, which is just a simple glass. It was not even glass, it's a plexiglass pane from the big box stores. So I'm just on the first floor. This is not where I'll be sleeping, or if I decide that I want this house, I'm not sure yet. Um, I'm putting so much into it that I might. So I've got a couple cow houses to build. Um, so basically that's the floor for the upstairs, the loft, and I decided that it's getting cold enough that I would stay in here. The area where the tarp is that actually is going to be open, so when you come in, there'll be a ladder or something. I'm thinking about an elevator because I'm a weirdo. And I'm thinking about when you come in, there's an elevator you step on with a dumbwaiter outside that, it's got boulders on it. So you just pull the cord and it raises you. I'm really thinking about that. I don't know. But I'm a weird dude. There's a pond down over there. And this is all my mess. So I was actually opening packages. Some wonderful people sent me some things last night. But that's where the pond comes in over there. I've decided that I want the pond to be deeper. So there'll be a wall of bricks that surround it and the water will come in. And because I am super weird, I think I'm going to do a fish elevator, which is basically a tube that uses pressure that pulls water from the pond up into a tube upstairs. So the fish can swim in the pond, swim inside, swim in here, just to check to see if I'm here, if the dummy is okay, and then swim to the top and swim up there. That's the fun thing about building. You can be as creative as you want. Anyway, so it was my first night staying in here. Felt good. There's a heater I'm going to cut off. You shouldn't have that in a main heater. I'm not technically inside, and none of this is sealed, so if I kind of panned around, you can kind of see. We're not sealed in here. You can see we're still open. We still got airflow coming in. I've got to seal a lot of these areas. In fact, even by the pond, so it's all open all the way around. But even wouldn't recommend having a propane or kerosene heater indoors, although I've done that for many years because it made sense in the house that I lived in. Anyway, I lived in an old well house. That's where I raised my kids in. It was an old well house of an old farm. It's beautiful. I mean, I loved it. It was small, but of course, no indoor heating, no Rockefeller central heating and air. Anyway, so it's kind of a bit of a surreal morning. Oh, I didn't show you the wall. I didn't go into too much detail. I'll go into more detail now that I'm starting to relax. I'm actually just drinking coffee and I'm relaxing. So a hint, when you do cob buildings, and this isn't cob, it's Kadobe, I think I'm going to call it, because I use Adobe methods, I use cob methods, and I use methods from modern concrete construction. I want to make a stronger wall, and that's why when you look at my cob walls, they don't look like normal cob walls. Now this will all be sealed, so I got to do a second layer to smooth things out, and then a third for a seal, if I'm good. If not, it might be 3 or 4 or 5 till I get it smooth. So these are wine bottles. You got to drink the wine before you start the house. That's why I only got, I got 2 up there and 3 down here, because somewhere in here I realized, damn it, I don't want to be a wino. So anyway, the other interesting thing I noticed, and I'll let you guys go, is, I want to walk through some of the building details, the things that I did that's different from what other people did, and what worked out, maybe what didn't work out so well. So check it out. So you can see the wall hydrating as I add more layers. And that's how you can tell it's not really a cob wall, because I actually make a very wet mixture and I'm packing it in as I go with fine grains. Mixed with an actual mixer, as opposed to doing mud, which is what you do cob. In Adobe, you use the liquid mixture. I mean, I like that better because it creates finer particles for making a micro brick wall, basically. And theoretically, it should help everything lock together better, which is what modern construction, knows a little bit better than our ancient builders. But it's still using some cob methodologies as well. But you can notice as I go higher in the layers, they all dry out. But when I put the next layer on, it drips down into the wall. And so all the way around, even when the wall completely dries up, you can see, like over there by the door, it slowly hydrates down into the lower layers. And this is where cob buildings are so strong, why they hold up to earthquakes and all types of other things, because it's literally one solid construction. You're making a wall of one material, because every time you add a new layer, it locks into the next layer through the uneven surface, and the hay that's still just hanging out the wall, or straw, stalks, whatever you want to use. But also because it's rehydrating the wall and locking it down further. So you're basically making one earthen concrete structure all the way around, which is super, super strong. Just having a surreal morning. I mean, it's been a long voyage. I beat the hell out of my body. I've learned a few things. I've actually learned that I'm an obstinate bastard. When I set my mind to do things, I'll go through any levels of pain to get it done. I went through a lot of pain, and then probably in the future, I'll share some of that pain with you guys. Unfortunately, people closest to me, close friends and family, know that the way I beat up my body to get this done. Terrarium wall. You got that terrarium. So that's actually one of the large milk jugs right there that's on the wall. And so that is going to be a terrarium I'm going to plant. And that's why it's open on the top right there. I'm going to plant that terrarium eventually. So not in any rush. I think in life that's what we got to do anyway. We got to slow down and do things. We shouldn't be in such a hurry. It might take me months to get that terrarium right. I might just do seeds instead of putting plants in there. And it might take it a year before it really looks lush and beautiful. But got to do things that are meaningful. One of the meaningful things to me, last thing I'll say, then I'm going to drop it, is this wood right here that's above the windows. That's my parents' wood. That's my father's wood. My fathers and my uncles used that wood to actually make the deck of the house that I grew up in. And so that's a little sentimental for me, because, I watched the deck going up. I was a little young. I kind of helped do a little bit of the deck, but mostly my father and my uncles did it. And then after they ripped the deck down, my father died, and then a contractor put in the next deck. But I grabbed a bunch of that wood. Thank goodness my mother was grabbed a bunch of that wood, and I used it to build the shelves in my first store. And then we moved the store, and I broke it down. I moved it to build the shelves in my next store, and we broke that down, and I moved all the wood here to Texas, and now I'm building with it. So all around, there are things that are very meaningful in this structure. And that's what I mean. It's just a surreal morning for me. I'm not in a hurry. I'm waking up this morning, and I made coffee in here this morning. I made dinner in here last night. And it's just meaningful. So my father passed about 6 years ago today. And I wouldn't be out here if it weren't for him. He taught me everything I know about building, everything I know about engineering, from fixing the truck to fixing the SUV to fixing flats. I rebuilt a Volkswagen Bug engine with him when I was 16 or 17. I even have his tools out here. A lot of his tools, when he passed, one of the things he said was that he said, I don't like that word, he ascended, but people don't ever go anywhere. He's still around. He said, save all the tools for my son and my youngest son. And so they saved most of the tools. They didn't save all of them. And those tools are actually building out here. His I can't tell you, his organization methods for putting together nuts and bolts and just separating things, how those things came in handy in moments when I needed to fix the truck or the tractor. So anyway, very meaningful. I know my father is here in spirit, but he'd be here physically if he were still around. So anyway, guys, have a great day.